Hey guys, Realtor Adele, your favorite realtor and investment property strategist. Let's jump right into this month's housing market report. We'll start with housing inventory, after which we'll take a look at mortgage interest rates, home prices and appreciation, and of course, find out what's going on with the Atlanta housing market. With spring being the peak selling season, this April did not disappoint. Inventory levels are up in 45 of 50 of the largest metros in comparison to last year. We can see with this chart the change in inventory levels year over year. So March of 23 through March of 2024, the national average was 23.5% growth in inventory. This chart breaks down the various levels state by state and also shows where there was an increase or deficit in inventory levels. Georgia had an increase of 24.9%, so basically a 25% increase. This is really good news since inventory levels play a significant impact on home prices. With an increase in inventory, this means that home buyers have more options, and instead of the demand outweighing the supply, which results in multiple buyers competing for the same home. Note that although inventory levels have improved, it's still down in comparison to pre-pandemic levels, so between 2017 and 2019. Technically, we are still in a seller's market. To further take this point home, here is another angle to look at the increase in inventory levels. Starting to the left, January of 22 to March of 24, you can see where we were. Here we are highlighting the last 3 years of the month of March in green. So March 2022, 23, and 24. March 2022 inventory levels were quite low. Of course, this was on the heels of the pandemic, which was also known as the aftermath of mass migration. A year after that, we saw inventory levels begin to climb. Home builders played a significant role in those numbers, speaking of which we saw a growth in new home development in every major market. On to March of 23, we saw that number slightly increase again. This year, we are seeing existing homeowners come back to the marketplace and deciding to sell. This is good news, as I previously mentioned, for all involved, those who want to sell and those who want to buy. With more inventory of homes on the market, it's more of an even playing field. Buyers have a bit more options. Home prices are more stabilized, which means that sellers have access to more qualified home buyers. So no bidding wars like we saw a couple of years ago. This may seem ideal for sellers, however, when home prices are forced to, let's say, obnoxious levels, it prices the majority of buyers out of the market, thus shrinking the pool of ready, willing, and able home buyers. It's similar to a catch-22. In an environment where home prices are exaggerated, this can essentially mean less choice for sellers. If a buyer that's under contract fails to close for any reason, there may very well not be another qualified buyer available. Long story short, the best scenario is more of an even playing field because the buyer gets to buy at a reasonable and acceptable price to the seller, and the seller gets to sell their home in a reasonable amount of time, thus avoiding an impasse. In regard to home prices, in last month's report, I mentioned that home price appreciation was up in all of the 20 major metros. This chart shows us the various industry experts who track home price appreciation. In the green, you can see a breakdown of Goldman Sachs, MBA, Zillow, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the home price expectation survey, and NAR. And then, of course, in the blue is an average of all 7. But I wanted to share this with you because home price appreciation has stabilized, and this is the natural rate of appreciation in a normal market. So we are in a more normalized rate of appreciation than we've seen in previous years. Rates for a 30-year fixed mortgage recently increased to over 7%. As a reminder, the Federal Reserve don't set mortgage rates, however, they do influence it. At their last meeting, the Feds decided to keep the Fed's fund rate to 5.25 to 5.5, so between those two numbers. And mortgage rates tend to trend with whatever the 10-year Treasury yield is doing. So we'll have to see how that pans out when the Feds meet again next month in May. At the end of the day, rates are influenced by a combination of inflation, job growth, economic and geopolitical factors. If you are in the market to purchase a home, it's important to know that we're not likely to see a huge decrease in interest rates anytime soon. Let's take a look at housing market trends in Metro Atlanta. Top portion of this chart is for single-family detached. Lower portion is for attached homes, meaning condos and townhomes. We're going to focus on pending and closed sales, days on market, average sales price, percent of list price received, and the month supply of inventory. For single-family detached, pending sales were at 3780. Closed sales were 3555, days on market 34, average sales price $555,684. The percentage of list price received 99.3, month supply of inventory 2.5. For attached homes, pending sales were 1132, closed sales 1031, days on market 38. So kind of significant in comparison. Well, not really, but it sounds significant, but I guess just an additional 4 days when compared to single family detached. The average sales price $426,947, and the percent of list price received 99%. Month supply of inventory, we're at 3. So previously I spoke about inventory levels being increased. Here we can see that, especially with townhomes. This is not surprising since people do prefer a single family detached over an attached home, a condo or townhome. It does provide more privacy and more autonomy, if you will. You're not sharing walls with anyone. So I guess that that extra month supply of inventory is not all that surprising. To recap, inventory levels are up in all of the major metros. The national average for inventory increases 23.5 and 24.9 in Georgia. Average home price appreciation nationally is 3.2%. Although inventory levels are up, we are still in a seller's market. Mortgage rates recently increased to over 7% and are likely to remain close to that number. It will all depend on inflation, job growth, economic and geopolitical activity. In regard to housing market trends in Metro Atlanta, the average sales price is $555,684 for single family detached and $426,947 for attached homes. Average days on market for single family detached is 34 and 38 for attached homes. Sellers are receiving around 99% of their asking price. That's all for now. As always, it's my goal to bring you accurate information from trusted sources so that you can make the best decision for yourself and your families. Do me a huge favor, like this video, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. See you on the next video.